Hi everyone, I am Alexa D'Agostino and I am here today to talk to you about how to turn your passion into a six-figure business. And so this is my version of a webinar about how to scale your business to 6 or 7-figure business, okay? Now, why am I doing a digital whiteboard session? Because I sell digital products, so it only makes sense that I do it via digital, right? It makes sense. So just to give you a little bit more insight about who I am, my name is Alexa. As I said, I have over 15 years experience. I have worked for major brands from Apple, Amex, Mercedes, major companies. I also have put this system to test with over 250 plus clients. And so this is not a new system. This is something that I have used personally to create multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses and multiple clients as well. I also have 5 degrees, including an MBA and also a PhD. So first I want to say why I say 6 and not 7 figures is because to get to 7, you have to go through 6, right? So it's really important that we capture and build a solid foundation of a company first at 6 figures, and then we can scale it to 7 figures. So which brings me to my next point. So why am I different? Why is this different than any other coach? Well, first off, most coaches, they're going to charge you a ton of money. And what they are going to do is they are going to talk to you about Facebook. They're going to talk to you about scaling your ads. They're going to talk to you about creating a sales funnel. They're going to talk to you about sales, right? But what they are missing here is the fact that there are 6 pillars of success, all right? And the key here is these 6 pillars to 6 figures are incredibly important because these 6 pillars all have to work together, okay? And you'll notice here that I actually only put 5 because that 6th pillar is a pillar that sits on top around all of the pillars, okay? So again, these coaches are going to charge you a ton of money, and all you're going to get out of it is maybe 1 or 2 of the pillars, maybe 3 if you're really lucky. But what they don't do is they don't go over the entire 6 pillars. And the 6 pillars is how you get a business that you can actually scale, okay? Because if you want to just make 10K in a month, yes, go with the coaches and they'll be able to get you 10K. But what they're not going to be able to do, they're not going to be able to scale your business just talking about this. So they're missing a big part here. So we're going to now go into what makes this system so different and unique than anyone else. So to talk about pillar 1, okay, we're going to talk about your personal brand, okay? So this is the why. This is why people should work with you and also why you do it, because people buy people, right? And people are going to buy you, not your product or service. So your personal brand is super important because you build trust. So a lot of coaches forget this piece, and this is literally so important to build this trust. Without the trust in your personal brand, nobody is going to buy from you. Okay, so this is super important. So this includes a lot of different things, from your colors to your personality, from also talking about what photography you use, what words you use, your vision and your mission statement are super important and part of your personal brand. And then the most important piece is your offer. Okay. So this is the most important part that you will build out of your personal brand, is building this offer, okay? So your personal brand is pillar 1, super important. So the second pillar is going to be your digital platform, okay? But before we get to 2, I always tell people, if you have an idea, you have to build your personal brand no matter what, right? Because essentially you're going to be your personal brand or your company. So you have to do that. But what you want to make sure is that your idea or your offer is something that people actually want, right? So in order to do that, I always tell people, before you build out this whole digital platform, create a prototype first. Make sure people want it. So create either a whiteboard session or some sort of ad that you can spend a little money, just a little money. Don't go crazy spending a ton of money, and see if people actually buy it, all right? So if you spend, $10 and you get back $20, that's good. So that means that it works. So I always tell people, build your personal brand as pillar one first, then do a prototype first and see if it's a viable offer. If it is, then you can move forward to step 2, which is your digital platform. So your digital platform, once you finish your prototype, you realize this is a good business, the offer, people like it, okay, great. So now we have to work on this digital platform, which consists of a number of different things. So it's essentially your sales funnel, right? And within that sales funnel, it includes all your landing pages, which is going to include your squeeze page, your sales page, your upsell page, all of that. And then it also includes your communication, which is really going to be focused around your drip campaign. Now, the important piece here is that I put communications, not email communications, because there is another form of communication I really want to stress, which is the DM and the texting, okay? So we have to be beyond just a drip campaign, because people want connection, and remember, from your personal brand, people buy people, so you have to build that relationship. So it's a really important piece. So now going to pillar 3, this is going to be your content strategy. And so this is important because this is where you build your authority. And so you are going to be viewed as the expert. And so in order to do that, you have to build a good content strategy. So this essentially will take your offer and you build your content around what your offer is. And what your offer is essentially the problems that people have, all right? And your content is going to solve those problems, which essentially will bring them back to wanting your offer. So you see how these all are connected, right? So this is really an important step, because you need to make sure that you are building the content. But before we get to what the content is, we have to first understand, where should you be, okay? And this is an important piece, because a lot of people get really overwhelmed with everything. You could be on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There's just so many places that you can go. And here's my opinion. Let's say this is 100% of your time, okay? If you are just on Instagram, you can spend 100% of your time on Instagram. But if you decide that you want to start off and you are on Instagram and YouTube, you now have split your time 50% on each. So what this means is you can't fully be all in one platform, right? So, and the same goes if you keep adding. The more you add, the less time that you have. So the reason why I bring this up is because I tell people, keep it simple, okay? So just start on Instagram, and the reason why is because it is super easy to use. It's easy to build really great content. Millions of people are on there, and they're on there multiple times a day. And millennials, they spend money, all right? So it is the top platform. So I always tell people, start there. Once you ace this, and you can say, I have aced this strategy, then you can go and expand. But first, start simple, start with just Instagram. The second piece is then your strategy, and actually how often you post, what you're posting, what it looks like, etc. So this is an important step. So the fourth step is your advertising, okay? So if you've gotten to this point, you have organic strategy coming in, or content, you have your digital platform, you have your personal brand. Now this is really focusing after you've created your prototype, and that's important because, as you remember, we talked about create a prototype first. And so, but in order to really be good at advertising, the problem with advertising right now is that it is so easy to advertise. And why is that a problem? Because it is so easy to fail. It is easy to do that, right? Because at the end of the day, it is so easy to put ads up, but it's also so easy to put the wrong things up, okay? So learning how to do advertising is a really important piece of the 6 pillars, right? And you could pay somebody to do this, and that is fine, or you can learn how to do it yourself, and it is super easy. So one, you have to learn what ad copy actually converts, and also figuring out too, where do you want to be? I recommend starting off with Facebook because it is the easiest one to use and it is really cheap to get clicks. And so you want to get people in front of your brand. This is the best way to do it. But again, you have to know how to do ad copy. And so advertising is a really important piece to get exposure. If you are not willing to put money into your offer, you will not be successful, and that will be you. The 5th one is closing the sale. So this always ends up being the saddest one because most people do not like to sell. But if you are going to be the boss, then you have to sell. It is a must. Okay, if you want to be successful and scale your business, you have to be able to be the sales machine, okay? And the reason why is because at the end of the day, people buy people, and if you're creating your company, they're buying you. Now, doesn't mean you have to sell your entire career. It's really just in the beginning, and then you can scale and teach people how to sell for you. But this is your company. You have to learn how to sell, and that is an important piece. And so you have to remember that if you want to be the person that is running a 6 or 7 figure business, you have to learn to sell. Now, to talk about the final pillar, we are going to talk about the last one, which is your mindset. So I always include this pillar because it is so important for you to have the right mindset to be a millionaire. And if you want to be a millionaire, you need to start to think like one, not act, okay? This is an important differentiation here. You don't want to act like a millionaire because you're not one, but you got to start to think like one. And you have to have the right mindset in order to pull this all off because it can be stressful and things are not always going to go the right way. You're going to put ads up sometimes and they don't work. So you have to have the right mindset to be resilient to get through. And most coaches do not talk about this, and this is the most important piece. All the successful entrepreneurs that are out there in the world right now have a good mindset. So, and this is not something that just happens. It does not happen overnight. So this is an important piece that you have to understand. It is built over time, and is built through coaching, and is built through failures, and is built through building things yourself. So make sure that you understand that that 6th pillar is the most important piece out of this entire platform. So now what? Right, so we're here. I've explained the 6 pillars. I actually have a webinar. If you click below, learn more, you'll see below. I actually go through this in much more detail, where I actually go into detail of each of these pillars. But I also created a masterclass that will actually take you through these in even further detail than the webinar does. And it is over 30 lessons, and it will walk you through exactly step by step how to do this. And it is literally exactly what I used to build these companies. So like I had said earlier, I have built over 250 companies from the ground up, teaching them how to do this. Because at the end of the day, if you hire a coach, they're only going to walk you through maybe pillar 4 and 5. They're not going to walk you through all 6 pillars. And if you want to scale your business to 6 or 7 figures, then you need to do all 6 pillars, okay? So this is really important. So right now I have a pre-sale going on for my masterclass. So for the next couple weeks, as I launch this, I am going to give really good specials. So you're looking at anywhere between 90 to 40% off over the next couple weeks. So obviously right now the price is pretty good for you to get this incredible system that is built by somebody that has done this and is making 7+ figures every single year. So I would hope that you are interested. If you are, click learn more below. And I would love for you to check out the masterclass and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about who you are and how I can be helpful. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you very soon.